What you're about to hear is an extract from our weekly podcast. If you want access to the full thing, you can get it right now over on our Patreon page at patreon.com/prettygoodgaming, or you can wait till next Wednesday when it goes live to everyone. Thanks. 90s nostalgia coming back hard. This is coming from mainly Sony and Nintendo, really. They're the kind of driving forces of it. So we've seen the SNES Mini Classic, which was revealed, or SNES Classic Mini, I can't remember. Words in some order. That was announced last week, was it? Was it last week?
Last week, yeah.
Yeah, and then it sold out immediately, and then there was more stock, and then it sold out, and then there was more stock, and it sold out. So there's Nintendo doing the Nintendo thing of not supplying enough consoles, but there's huge demand for it, whatever it was, and there's all like this buzz on the internet, all the headlines and everything. That was for a console with 20 games on it that were all essentially from the 90s, apart from one which was never released in the 90s. That was Star Fox 2, so that's coming out on it as well. So all that buzz was for 90s nostalgia. Then you've got Sony who are going in really hard with their collections, remasters, the remakes of old games, which they've already done with the likes of Ratchet and Clank and stuff, but they're doubling down on it this year because we've had the WipeOut Omega Collection, which was a very good game by all accounts.
Yeah,
it was
very well put together.
And Crash Bandicoot, which only came out last week and topped the charts in the UK, and not only topped the charts, they outsold Horizon Zero Dawn, which was like a huge, much bigger project, a huge AAA project with a lot more money behind it.
It outsold Horizon Zero Dawn's first week on the charts.
Yeah, well, as far as
the comparison goes, not outsold during this week, outsold.
Yeah, it hasn't outsold all of Horizon Zero Dawn's first sales, but in its first weekend, exactly like Horizon Zero Dawn, if you put those time spans together, it's done better, which is absolutely remarkable for a collection of 3 games from the PlayStation 1. So I'm going to ask you guys first, because you both have got Crash Bandicoot.
Yep. That's right, yeah.
Why did you buy it? What was it about it that you wanted out of it?
Purely nostalgia for me. I mean, it's Crash Bandicoot. Grew up on those games, played them religiously on the PS1, and they did exactly what they said they were going to do. It's the exact same game, just with shiny graphics. Is it the nostalgia that you're enjoying, or is it a good game now? Is it a solid game that could stand up now, or is it fueled by the nostalgia factor? There's actually quite a bit of debate about this on like Twitter and stuff, where a lot of people who have fond memories of Crash Bandicoot picked up this collection and now they've gone, Jesus Christ, this game's brutally hard, isn't it? Because they are cloudy.
Crash Bandicoot, let us remind everyone. Crash Bandicoot, continue.
Yeah. So it's like the rose-tinted glasses are coming off now. They've forgotten that these were actually quite challenging games back in the day. And all they have is the fond memories. They don't remember the actual playing the game. And a lot of people they've not taken too kindly to it.
It's too hard. I want to be a kid again.
I haven't played the Crash Collection or the Insane Trilogy, as it's called. But what I can kind of sympathise, because I've told you guys about this in the office a few times. I played Super Star Wars, which came out on came out on the SNES, but it's on PlayStation Store, so you can just buy it as a downloadable game. So I did that, and it was rock hard, and I can't get past the first level. As a small child, as a 7-year-old boy, I got like 4 levels in. I have no idea. Have we just been babied over the years to play easier games, or what's happened?
Of course we have. That's what's my favourite thing about it, serving a humble pie to all these people that think Dark Souls is the hardest game ever. Play a PlayStation 1 game. You know what I mean?
Play Crash Bandicoot.
I can remember Fable 2 coming out, and they introduced a system where you can't die, you just knock yourself out and you lose some experience, like when Sonic loses the rings, but you can just pick them up again and you can just keep doing that and keep doing that. When you're a kid, right, you have no real problem with repetition. You tell the same unfunny jokes over and over again, and when you're a kid you don't get bored, Ellie plays the same games over and over and over again, right? She's 5, right? She doesn't get bored of the same Lego every day, you know what I mean? So that's the thing, she can play a platformer or whatever. You as a kid can play a platformer and not get bored and good without crying and writing a Steam review. It's broken, man. Right? That's what this game is. It's just a nice little bit. People are taking a piss. Crash Bandicoot Prepare to Die edition. It's just no. You've been babied into playing easier games with quick save, auto save, and obviously that's fun. It's fun because you're feeling like you're progressing. You feel like you're good. A challenge is what Crash Bandicoot 1 is. And yes, sure, some of it's down to the loose controls and things like that, but it's
slidey surfaces as well.
But yeah, it's a challenge. Isn't that what you want? If it was like Dark Souls, people would be like, oh, game of the year, it's dead hard and that. But it's like this. It's like, this is harder than I remember as a kid. 6 out of 10. Like, that's what people have been saying.
But you're dead right. Dark Souls is like, it redefines gaming, you guys. This redefines video games.
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
They just forgot what
games were hard as back then, because you had to make a game last. Like you had to be a challenge. Because
that's the thing. You've got less time per game now because there's so many of them.
Yeah.
Back in the day, you remember you might have 5 games. You might get a console. You might have 5 games to play, and you rotate through them. Yeah. And you play them over and over again for months. Yeah. And that's how you get through. That's how you've invested loads of time in numerous playthroughs of maybe level 1 of a game. Yeah. Whereas now you play it once or twice, and you think if it's not easy, if it's not engaging, you can just move on to the next game and then review it negatively, review bomb out in Steam, and then away you go.
There's something I've got to ask you though. Is it when you're jumping into these, is when you think, oh, Crash Bandicoot, there's a new Crash Bandicoot Insane trilogy, I've got to get that, and you jump into it and you get that nostalgia kick and everything. Do you get what you want from it? Is that nostalgia that they're selling you, and even with the packaging with like WipeOut, where you've got it looks like the really nice PS1, it's got a clear PS1 style case to it and everything. Yeah. When you buy that and you play it and you enjoy it, do you get what you're looking for out of it? Is there a fun game there that you're like really into, and despite the difficulty and everything, is it just like, oh, I remember this? What is it that is appealing to you as a kind of nostalgia gamer, I guess?
For me, I'm still getting the fun out of it because I played through Crash Bandicoot 1 on my Vita about 2 years ago, and the first remaster in the collection, it's exactly how I remember it, just prettier, because I know what it is going in, and that's what I go in to look for. So I expect quite a challenging platformer, and so I'm enjoying the game quite a bit because of that.
Is it aged at all for you? Like for you, Jake, is it something that do you feel like, oh, this is an old game? This feels like this.
What I'm thinking is I'm looking at it from like somebody that's played video games non-stop since then, and I've just thought like how many struggles developers must have had. Like they had like the basic platforming sections. How have they made the game fresh? Like they've changed up, like the levels were different, the enemies were different, Crash Bandicoot's death animations were different. The mechanics were really quite simple. You had like your platforming basics, and they had to think of things differently to make it original. So I'm looking at it from like that, and just looking at it as like a masterclass of what it was at the time. I think that one thing with the game that I'm finding is there's not many games that are like this now. You don't get a game that offers you like a level-based game where you're either going left to right or up and down. We had like this like sort of ukulele happened this year.
I was about to ask you about that.
And but again, that's more like Banjo-Kazooie or Spyro the Dragon. You're in a hub world, you go into a level, and then you explore it freely. Like Mario 64, you can do your little quests, but this is a different type of game. This is like levels based. It's basically just jumping from place to place, avoiding the bad guys. So there's not many games that are doing that now. So I'm kind of starved of games like that. So it's nice to play a game that's got those mechanics. So mechanically, it's just nice because I don't think there's been many games that have done that since Crash. So it's nice to go back to that.
Someone who had no nostalgia for this was you, Gareth, when you jumped into ukulele. Yeah. You had no Banjo-Kazooie love. You had no nostalgia factor at all. You just jumped into this as a new game. Yeah. And you did not like it, did you?
No, I didn't like ukulele at all. And thinking about my nostalgia factor with regard to this game as well. I mean, I played the original.
Crash Bandicoot.
Crash Bandicoot, sorry, I played Crash Bandicoot, and I enjoyed it at the time. And I might have been 12 or 13 when I played it, whereas you guys might have been younger, right? So maybe what I'm saying is, like, when I was 12, it was great because that was the pinnacle of gaming at the time. For you guys, it was the same, but you were a lot younger. I don't feel much nostalgia for these games at all because, I mean, I don't know if it's just my age or that, but I feel like I wouldn't get enough enjoyment out of it now. I feel like it's beneath me in a way. I'm beyond it.
Right.
We're playing a game, Shadow of the Tactics,
Blade of the Shogun.
It's a silly name, whatever order you put those words in.
I'm playing that, and just from the half an hour or so I've played it, I'd much rather play a game that I've got to use my brain for than just like, okay, I need to time this jump right. I need to make sure my body position right. Otherwise I die. I'll try it again. Time this jump right. There's just very little mechanics in that, and very little feedback so far as I won't get anything enjoyable out of timing jumps and shit.
I definitely see what you mean, because obviously gaming has evolved in certain directions and things like that, and the platforming was huge, wasn't it? But it's not as big now, obviously. But there are games like Ukulele that are trying to scratch that itch, I guess. Here's where we can kind of wrap this up, I guess. How long can this carry on for Sony and Nintendo as a strategy of like, remember this? Well, here it is again, right?
Nintendo do.
Yeah, I guess
Mario, remember him?
Nintendo's, Zelda.
20 years.
You like that
That's
guy?
All they do.
You like that guy? They're going to crucify me for that. It's something that just kind of is interesting to me, because if you do jump into it and you're like, oh yeah, this is good and whatever, and you kind of get over that nostalgia, like how long term is this going to go on? How long can they keep pumping out like 90s remakes and stuff before people kind of get like,
until people start buying it and run out of money? I don't know. It's like, I mean, there's a couple of reasons why this strategy is quite good. From obviously they don't have to put a lot. Well, obviously the total remake make a Crash Bandicoot as custom from the ground up.
And Ratchet and Clank and WipeOut, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, WipeOut they gave a complete overhaul to.
But all they've got to do is copy an already established game, so they haven't got to put any much thought into it. They just got to copy it basically. So the production timescale is a lot shorter than regular games where you've got to brainstorm it from the very beginning. In that aspect, I guess it's the amount of money it takes for them to produce it is a lot less. So so they can make a lot of money off it. They're making money off the nostalgia factor. People who might not have gamed for years and years and years, they're getting people that involved in getting. It's like, oh, it's that game. They remade that game. Maybe I'll jump into gaming for the first time in years.
Especially something like Crash Bandicoot, right? It's like it's a name that it's kind of got that effect.
That's why
WipeOut maybe less so. WipeOut it's got a fan base like purists of people who really love WipeOut and they want another one, but they'll just buy the collection anyway.
Crash is a mascot. That's the thing. I mostly got this game because my girlfriend played it on the PS1 when she was younger, and she was excited about the idea of it. So I was like, oh, I'd kind of like that as well. So that's the reason I got it. So that's the exact demographic that is grabbed. I think there's a place for nostalgia, but it's a shame to see it. I'm always a bit when it does really well. It's easy, like Gaz said. They don't need to think. They just need to go through the motions, remake this level A to B, and then there's people that are making creative, original stories that aren't doing as well. And I hope it doesn't encourage too many people to just make this the next big thing. Remake. I'd like to see
just cash in on the.
Yeah, exactly. As long as people keep making original, cool content. I've played so many great, amazing new games, new IPs this year that I wouldn't trade that for anything else.
Thanks a lot for watching this podcast extract. Remember to like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you want to see a new gaming video every single day from us, and remember to check out Patreon if you want the full podcast right now. See you next time.